All right, y'all. So I said I was going to start going live right after my Cards and Conversations episode on Instagram. And I just posted it for those of you that weren't able to catch it. I'm a night owl, so I like to do things after hours. As the spiritualists say, the witching hours. That's when I'm up. When everybody is asleep, that's when I like to be up. So tonight, me and my co-host were going over the importance of your Venus sign and how knowing your Venus sign, which governs your values, love language, and what you find beautiful and pleasurable, helps you to understand your relationships and personal desires. And before we even got started, we went into why your Venus sign was so significant in astrology. Now, we know that Venus is named after the Roman goddess of love and beauty, and it influences how you express affection, your taste, your approach to relationships, and basically it just helps you understand your romantic needs and what you attract and how you attract others. But it all boils down to your Venus under, understanding your Venus sign is how you can help navigate your life, love life, basically, with greater awareness and authenticity. So I went over all the Venus signs and I just kind of briefly gave you guys a snippet of some key things to know about all the Venus signs throughout the zodiac, just so you guys have an idea of what each Venus looks like. So I started with Aries. If you have a Venus in Aries, and sidebar, you can find this information with a quick Google search. You will have to type in your birth date and that information to locate it. But if you go on Google, you can type the information in and you'll be able to find what sign your Venus falls in. So we started with Venus in Aries. If your Venus is in Aries, you are assertive, playful, and competitive. So I have a friend that has a Venus in Aries, and I won't say her name for the sake of privacy, but she has a Venus in Aries, and like in love, she's very much like, you know what, this is who I'm crushing on now. But hi, Realist. In love, she's like very temperamental. It can be this person this day, but the next day it could be a completely different person. Like they like to shop around. So hi, Dee Dee. That's Venus in Aries. Venus in Taurus, sensual, romantic, indulgent. So you'll notice a lot of Venus in Tauruses love to surround themselves with luxury, and they love to surround their spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, the person that they're dealing with luxury, with flowers, chocolates, things of the likes. That's Venus in Taurus. Venus in Gemini, curious, experimental, flirtatious. And then I used the example of Tupac, who also has his sun sign in Gemini. So imagine having your sun sign in Gemini and your Venus in Gemini. Like you're kind of all over the place. You just want to be this place, that place, over there, over here, when you really should just be sitting your ass down and focusing on one thing. But I like Geminis. I love how they think. I love the wordplay. Like a Gemini has the best wordplay. And I put up a post on my Instagram, on my business page, like how you can always tell like a Gemini by their wordplay. And some of the most influential artists and entertainers are Geminis. Jadakiss, Lauryn Hill, Biggie, Tupac, Kendrick Lamar. Like Geminis are lyricists. Like they have a tremendous wordplay. Their wordplay is crazy, like it's phenomenal. So that's Venus and Gemini. Venus in Cancer, nurturing, sensitive, protective. And I just recently found out that Nipsey's Venus was in Cancer. So even though he has that strong Leo sun, which is king of the jungle, all eyes on me, I need the attention. When it comes to love, he's very much like in his caring and nurturing and wanting to protect that other person. So it's beautiful because it's like the best of both worlds. So that's Venus in Cancer. Venus in Leo, bold, creative, dramatic. And I believe I said Whitney Houston. Was it Venus in Leo? Let me just double check, so I don't give you guys the wrong information. Yes, Whitney Houston is a Venus in Leo. So I see how her and Bobby Brown hit it off so quickly because I believe he is a, what did I say Bobby was? A Venus in Aries. So that's fire with fire. And fire, they're comparable to each other. So that's Venus in Leo. Venus in Virgo, gentle, grounded. And if anybody knows anything about Virgos, you know that they are perfectionists. They want to make sure that everything goes as planned, very strategic, very analytical, wanting to build things from the ground up. So when I was researching what celebrities had Venus in Virgo, Michael Ealy, who I don't know too much about, and I don't know too much about his relationships. I know he dated Halle Berry briefly, but I only know him as the actor, which is not really an accurate representation of who he is, truly. I just know him as the actor. So once I take a look at like his dating history, I'll be able to see exactly like how his Venus in Virgo plays out. Venus in Libra, balanced, aesthetic, but can also be superficial. Hi, Mal. Thank you for liking the video or liking the live. So when you have a Venus in Libra, what is the Libra energy? It's balance. It's the scales, always needed to be balanced. But you have to also think about Libra energy as wanting to always be liked and wanting to always feel like they're included and wanting to always feel like they matter. So that can also come off as superficial because it may not necessarily be what they want, but if the other person wants it, they're going to want it too. So that's why it can come off as superficial, because they want to be liked, they want to be respected, they want to be included, they want to be appreciated, which everybody does. But I think the reason superficial is attached to Libra is because Libra wants to always be included and be looked at in a favorable light, if that makes sense. Next, we have Venus in Scorpio, intimate, private, intense. And who did I say was Venus in Scorpio? Tyrese and Fabulous. So when you look at Fabulous, who's also a Scorpio sun, very pensive, but also very intense. So you have your sun in Scorpio, which is, I think, also Diddy. His sun is, well, no, Diddy's Venus is in Libra, but his sun is in Scorpio. But just Scorpio energy in general is very intense. So imagine your Venus being in Scorpio. That's going to be 10 times the intensity, because that sexual energy is going to be intense. And that is what a Scorpio energy is. It's intense. It's very intimate. It's private. If you know a Scorpio, you may feel like you just don't really know them, even if you've known them, because they're very private. And they only open up when they feel comfortable and when they feel like they're safe and secure. When a Scorpio opens up to you, take that as a compliment because they're very private people, very private. Next is Venus in Sagittarius, adventurous, exploratory, but can also be volatile. And LL Cool J and Nicki Minaj are both Venus in Sagittarius. Now that one kind of surprised me when it came to Nicki Minaj because I was saying on Cards and Conversations, I only know her to be in two public relationships, Safari and Kenneth Petty, who's her now current husband. But I can see LL Cool J, I can see his Venus in Sagittarius because he definitely is a ladies' man. But then I also back that up with you have to look at the entirety of the chart. And I don't know what his sun sign is, so I really can't give an accurate like analysis of him and his entirety of his chart. Next, we have Venus in Capricorn, responsible, steady, stoic. And I know this to be very true. I'm a Venus in Capricorn, and there was another person that had their Venus in Capricorn. Lauren London, I believe Tyra Banks. I would have to look that up. I want to say Tyra Banks has a Venus in Capricorn. But very like if you know a Capricorn, you know that business is written all over their face. Like business, I'm serious. What the problem is, like if you know anything about Capricorn energy, like I don't take them as people that are very playful. Yes, they have a playful side, but just off the rip, Capricorn energy is very serious, responsible, steady, stoic. They don't wear their heart on their sleeve, and you can never really read a Capricorn. So imagine that in your Venus in love. You know what I'm saying? Like that's very serious, like responsible, steady. And one thing that really resonated was stoic when I saw that um, was a part of Venus and Capricorn. Like you never know what's going on. And I was also speaking about this on the Cards and Conversations podcast. Like you never knew that Lauren was going through any of these things with Nipsey because she was very stoic. Like she kept everything under control. Yeah, you knew when they had broken up because I think he posted about it, like we're no longer together, but you know, we choose to raise our son. So please just respect our privacy. I think she maybe briefly posted about it, but you know, you never really knew what was going on between the two because you can never really read a Venus in Capricorn, like unless we want you to read us. So that's Venus in Capricorn. Venus in Aquarius, innovative, revolutionary, eccentric. And I was surprised to see that Emily B was a Venus in Aquarius. That really shocked me, right? Yeah. Emily B from Love and Hip Hop, that shocked me that she was Venus in Aquarius. I always thought she was like a Venus in like a water sign, like Cancer or Pisces, but I can kind of see that during maybe season 1 where she was very like very detached from her emotions when her and Fab were going through what they were going through, and that's Aquarian energy, like completely detached from emotion. And so I can see how she can have that when it comes to her relationship, because remember after her and Fab had went through what they had went through and he had allegedly knocked her teeth out, you know, she returned back to him and never really spoke about it as if it never happened. So I can see that just based off little like snippets and tidbits of what I've seen on the show. I can see And who did I say was a Venus in Pisces? I believe Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And how often can you purposely tell someone sign just from general conversation? I really can't tell from general conversation, but not unless the conversation is, not unless we're talking about their relationship and they're telling me, you know, how things transpired within their relationship. If the conversation is geared towards relationships and love, I can get an idea of what their Venus sign is, like how they react. Are they reactionary in love? Are they like very like what's the word I'm looking for? Pensive. Like I can tell if the conversation is geared around like love and they're like, telling me stories about what happened in their relationship. That's how I can tell what their Venus sign is. But just off of like basic conversation, no, I can't tell. I can usually tell what your sun sign is, but I can't tell what your Venus sign is. Hope that answered your question. So Venus and Pisces, dreamy, poetic escapist, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Venus and Pisces, and also Marvin Gaye. Now we have to also remember the women are different from the men. Okay? The women are different from the men. I know plenty of Venus and Pisces men, and I know quite a few Venus and Pisces women, completely different. Completely different. Now, I know the Venus and Pisces men tend to have like multiple lovers and be very fluid when it comes to relationships. And once I found out that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Venus in Pisces, I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because he was known for being, the activist, of course, first and foremost, activist, but, in the neighborhood, he was known to be a little ladies' man, as well as Marvin Gaye, who's one of my favorite artists. He was also known to be a ladies' man. So that makes sense. That makes sense once I put a name to a face. That made sense. But that was all the Venus signs, and we just kept reiterating how important it is for you guys to know your Venus sign. Even if you're not into astrology, guys, like it it helps to learn as much as you can about yourself, because the more you know about yourself, the more you have a bird's eye view of how you're shaking and moving out here in these streets, how you react in relationships, what your love language is. And this is why I'm so fascinated with astrology. It has yet to disappoint me. Even when I look at public figures and what their signs are, I'm like, oh yeah, like that's why they stay together so long. Like they're compatible. Their Venus and Mars are compatible. Their sun and moon are compatible. When your partner has your sun sign as their moon or vice versa, that's a plus, because that means you understand their emotions and they understand you. If your sun is their moon or your moon is their sun, plus, like that's a plus. If your Venus is compatible, like guys, it's so much, like it's intricate. It's so intricate, but this all boils down to knowing more about yourself. And the more you know, the more you grow. And hopefully, the more you know, the more you can heal. Because this is not our first rodeo. This is not our first time on Atlantis. A lot of you guys are returning back to clear ancestral karma, to clean up your bloodline. And astrology can help you do this. This is what astrology is for. Yes, Dee Dee. Yes, girl. So that was it, guys. I'm not going to stay on here too long. The show wasn't even that long. We briefly went through all of the Venus, and next week we have a real treat. We're going to get into the north nodes and the south node, and why it's important to always remain in your north node energy. Always, 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 because it's so easy for us to slip into our south node energy, which is just the energy that we were in previous lifetimes, which is why it's so familiar, and so many people are guilty of slipping back into that energy because it's familiar, it's comfortable. But we all know that nothing grows when you're comfortable. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So very important that you guys stay in your north node energy. And it's also a plus and a bonus if you have a best friend, a family member who you're close to who also shares. It's even a more of a bonus if you have a companion that has the same north node as you. Nipsey and Lauren shared the same north node, um, Taurus north node. So it's so easy for them to get to the promised land because they kept each other on track. So me and one of my best friends, the guy who I do cards and conversations with, he's also a north node in Taurus. So whenever I see him slipping back into that scorpionic energy, I'm like, no, 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 not this lifetime. Not this lifetime. No, you got to stay in your Taurus energy because you are destined to live a life of luxury. So that is what we're going to discuss next week. We'll briefly go over all of the key things to know in your North Node energy and why it's important to not slip back into your South Node energy because that could literally hold you back. Like, hold you back from your purpose, from your bag, from blessings, from everything. And that's the reason why you need to get out of that energy, even though it's comfortable. Who said that being comfortable was correct just because it's comfortable? Do you stay in relationships that are toxic because they're comfortable? No, you get out of them. So that's what we're going to discuss next week, guys. North Node, and we'll go through all the different signs. So just make sure, if you guys are not familiar with what your North Node is, to do a quick Google search. You will need your birth date, type all that information in, and it'll pull up what your North Node is, which will also give you what your South Node is. And you'll be surprised once you read about your North and your South Node, you're gonna be like, wow, that's me. That, like, I'm reading about myself. It's gonna like trip you out. Like, you're gonna be tripping out once you read it. Because when I read it, I was like, wow. Like, so this is what people got to deal with. Like, it really makes you like, it makes you check yourself. It makes you check yourself if you've been wrecking yourself. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I love being a Taurus North Node because it means that this lifetime I'm living on top of the world, like Brandy. I'm sitting on top of the world, literally, because everything I did in previous lifetimes have led me up to this very moment. But you know what really I don't want to say ticked me off, but what really made me a little bit frustrated is that Taurus North Nodes cannot receive handouts. Like, we literally like have to get it out the mud. And so when I was reading about Nipsey's story and how he came up and how he got to where he was before he transitioned, I was like, wow. Like, that's why he didn't sign like with a major label, because that was not his purpose. That was not his purpose. He had to get it out the mud. He had to go independent. He had to do everything on his own for how many years, it said? Maybe 5 or 6 before he even had a buzz. Like, before anybody knew that he even was a Nip. C, hustle. Like, he had to truly get it out the mud. And so that's one of the only things that I'm just like, really? Like, I really got to get it out the mud. And even Lauren, her being a Taurus North Node, she said, you know how many times I was told no? Hundreds of times before I was finally told that yes. Like she said that she was told no for so many roles, so many roles that she auditioned for that she was actually in when her scenes got like later on deleted. Like she was in Soul Plane. She was supposed to be in Soul Plane. Her entire scene got deleted. So like that's like evidence right there. Like never give up. Never give up. Like you keep going until you can't go anymore. And I promise you that last time you go and you feel like you just like you're barely like making it, like that's gonna be a big break. That's gonna be a big break. So that's the only thing that I was like, damn, really? Like I can't get no handouts. Like not that I don't mind working hard, like hard work is my middle name, but you know, from time to time you think, damn, like other people, like you look at other people and you don't know their story, so you're like, damn, they got it easy, but you never know what they had to do to like, you know, get it. So that'd be the only thing that really got me when I when I found out that the Taurus North nodes have to just work like that much harder. Like inheritance is not like in our forecast unless it happens just like by surprise. Like we literally have to get it out the mud. And the reward is greater when you get it that way. Think about it. When you work hard for something and you know that you put blood, sweat, and tears into getting something, you appreciate it more. You appreciate that shit 20 times more than having something given to you. At least I do. Like I know I'll appreciate something and I'll take care of it because I know I worked hard for it versus it just being given to me, which is actually what happened in previous lifetimes. And I think that's the reason why I have to work so hard this lifetime. Taurus North Node means that in other lifetimes, everything was handed to me. Everything. And I think I sometimes I fall back into that, like, well, I don't need to do that because it's gonna work itself out. No, the hell it ain't. It ain't gonna work out until you work it out. So that's been like my downfall too. Like thinking that stuff is gonna work itself out because I'm falling back into right, Dee, exactly. Because I'm falling back into my Taurus North Node or my Scorpio South Node, like thinking that someone's gonna come and save me because that's what happened in previous lifetimes. I was always taken care of, but this lifetime I gotta get it out the mud. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. If you guys want more information, I'm already 28 minutes in. Damn, didn't think it'd be this long. So if you guys want more information or if you want to know some key traits about all the North nodes, then definitely check out Cards and Conversations. If you have not already followed or subscribed to the page on Instagram, my handler is Love Anya, LOVEAONYEA. We will be discussing all of the North nodes throughout all the signs next week at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time. Brian and I are actually an hour apart. He's in Tennessee. I'm in New York, so we're actually an hour apart, but we make it work at 11:11 p.m. every Tuesday night. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that next week. And I'll see you guys either on this platform or on the Cards and Conversations platform. All right?